Hello?
There we are. Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mama Pause. I'm here with my dear friend Traci Green for another chat. Hi, we're going to talk about life, kids, self-care, all that good stuff, whatever's going on for us, I think. This is the chat where we come together and we just invite you to listen in and participate as we support each other, because this is our mama chat time. I've been needing that, right? I guess we'll wait for a couple. Oh, we've already got people watching. Hello, everybody. Wait, let me pull up the comments so you can see everybody. You can leave a comment. If you're watching from the Facebook group, it will come up anonymous unless you actually click that link.
Oh.
Can't post comments sometimes. What is that link? Does it come up? It's facebook.com/StreamYard, and then it'll allow you. But if you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can pop your comments in, and we will see them. So if you are watching, let us know where you're watching from. Say hello. If you are here and you're new, you can join my text community. Let's be text friends. This is totally new. I'm doing this. You may have seen some other people doing it, but it's so cool because I can literally text you like you. It's not like it's like I go in and I get your texts and you get them and see them. So it's not like a big email service or anything like that. It's so fun. So my text community number is in the bottom, 323-336-8418. Hi, Angie. Angie's here with us. So if you're here watching, say hello in the comments. We would love to talk. Hello, Traci Green. How are you?
This is episode number 2.
It is. It's episode number 2. We did, you guys were so sweet to us last week.
Thanks.
That we had to come back and do it again. And
it's
say
a
hello.
good excuse for us to just broadcast our chats anyway. I mean, like, this is what we do in our real life and support each other. So it's fantastic.
And like work out. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. And work out like what's going, if something is going on with our kids, we're like, you have that partner that you can talk to and get it out. And why not share that with you? Because then you get to say, oh yeah, my kid too, and hear us work it out. And I have Tony from Florida is saying hello. So hello, Tony.
Hi.
I know that we had some questions that were messaged in and people want us to talk about things. So we'll definitely get to that. But Traci, what's going on for you? I'm going to take a look at everyone that's saying hi. And how are you, my friend?
I'm okay.
You're okay?
Okay. No, pretty good. Lots of ups and downs every day in this current world. But one thing I'm doing is something new that I've never done. Is I am trying to love myself unconditionally.
Ooh, that's a good one. It's hard. We say that and we laugh about it because there's a lot of like, people make fun of that kind of thing. It's so true. It's such a real thing. If you walk around judging yourself in your head, you're gonna be mean to the people around you.
And mean to yourself, because I think that words cast spells. The word spelling.
I used to say that about songs. Like, how many songs would we listen to over and over, and all that emotion we would put into it? Like, what is that song saying? Because we're just sort of like ruminating in this belief with all this emotion, and it sort of changes the way we then walk through the day.
It's true. It's true.
Michelle and Joy are saying hi. They're
New York, hello.
From Iowa and from New York. We've got everybody all over. We got LA, New York, Iowa. We got middle, West Coast, down at the bottom.
Good.
I love it. So how are you doing that, Traci? Because I know that might be. Oh my God! Somebody has the same
dinosaur. Melissa and Doug dinosaur.
I love it.
Sihat. I hope I'm saying that right. Yeah. I used to own a toy shop, so I have a lot of stuff. You might see a lot of my stuff in the background when you join us for the next episodes.
Good stuff. So how are you doing that exactly? Like, what is something that you've done for yourself?
Okay. So I thought the number one thing is I should love myself as much as I love my husband. I mean, I would do anything for that guy. He's a dreamboat. Do I say that about myself? Not so much. So I decided that I'm taking it slow, but I wanted to actually have a ceremony where I marry myself. And I got this ring to remind myself. And we're just dating right now. We're not setting a date yet.
I love it. You are cultivating a new relationship with yourself.
Yeah. And it's like I want to remind myself every day with these bands about the love I feel for myself and my family and my husband.
I love it. It's a commitment to yourself.
Yeah.
Though. And even if it's a reminder too, it's that pattern, like interrupting that pattern. So if you're going through or you're like having a moment, you just look at that ring and it makes you like, will you step back and sort of just like take a moment to breathe, or what will it do? Well, yeah.
I actually took it off the day before yesterday, which I don't ever do. And I decided to put it back on. Like it just kind of, it triggers me in the way of sending thoughts of love and joy, or I can counteract, even if I'm saying something not so nice and I catch it in the gleam as maybe I'm punching a pillow or something. It clicks in.
It's a mama pause moment.
Yes. That.
You guys know that's the name of our show, Mama Pause, because we need to figure out ways to take that time and cultivate that mindfulness in our everyday. And it doesn't have to be like all day long, right? It's just like, oh, I get stuck in that moment and let me just pause. Let me just step back, and taking care of ourselves is not who we normally like pay attention to, right? We're not normally on that.
Yes.
Let me talk nice to myself. It's usually like you said, we put that focus on other people and then we resent it because if they don't then give us back all that, respect, adoration, compliance, whatever it is we're seeking in that moment, if they don't give that back, then we're like, I was so nice to you. I'm so nice to you. I give you everything. I don't know. Does anybody else feel like that out there? I know I've definitely felt like that.
Oh, look, we're like all over the world. This is amazing.
From Brazil and Stacy from Colorado, Bello from Rio, Brazil. I love that. I first kind of fell in love with that area when my aunt went on her honeymoon. I was like 13 and I learned like where that was and what it was because she went to Brazil on her honeymoon. And I don't know, I just have an affinity towards the beauty of places like that. But Stacy's watching from Colorado. And Charlie in the south of the UK.
Cheers for coming. Yay.
Thank you so much for being here, everybody. So the self-love thing is really good. I don't know if you guys do anything, but post it in the comments if you have something that helps you get back on track. If you've been watching or if you took my 10-day retreat recently and you put into place some of those practices, share it with us or with everybody in the comments.
And who saved the meditation from Aura and keeps doing it since the retreat? That's what I want to know. Right.
It's so easy because it's right on the web page. So I just have to click, I don't have to go anywhere to find it. It's kind of just right there.
That's something right there. I do every single week, every Wednesday at 1:00 Pacific time. I do a session with Aura and a group. I call it a Reiki circle, energy work. And it is, no matter how I feel, I'm always there. And that's my hug once a week for myself.
That self-care piece. And I know that might be difficult for everybody to sort of take out that time because our kids are a little bit older, so they're hiding in their rooms most of the time. Yeah. Right. So we don't need to be like running after little ones. I don't know if we would be taking out that time when they were like 5. Like I'm thinking back to when we were like, okay, what are we doing today? And it was, I'm hanging on to my chair because that's how we were sometimes hanging on. That's what I remember when they were little. Like, okay, we're going to go to the zoo. We're going to go to this. And I would be working from home and then you would take the kids sometimes for like the whole day. Yeah. I loved those days. Yeah. It was like, I knew that she was safe. I hope well, right now, I guess it's hard because again, like the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
But having someone that you can buddy up with, that was so important. That was I mean, for me, it was key because I didn't know any other parents when I had my Luna, like you and Jen and our immediate circle there. That was like my lifeline.
Oh, absolutely. We literally just all lived together. It was like we went home for dinner every night. And then it was like, what time are we meeting in the morning? And we spent and whether it was, two of us taking all the kids so one could work, or all three of us going somewhere, or whatever. It was always, it was an incredibly important part of how I could deal and live through.
Yeah, because I mean, we were all working. It's not like we were all sitting around. Like, you had shows, you had band shows, so I would like take Nevin or go to the show with you.
Come to the show
and watch both of them.
And hold him back from jumping on stage.
And then sometimes he would be like so over. So Traci was in a kids band. We probably mentioned that. And she would go do shows all the time, all over. Sometimes like in the middle of the afternoon, like the mall and things where they had the kids band play. And at one point, Nevin was like over it. Like he was sort of like, I'm done going to see my mom and dad play in their band. Like he was so over, and he just would want to leave. Like, where are we going? We'll go anywhere but this show.
But the show. He's kind of still that way now.
He's kind of, we've scarred him for life with all those shows for sure.
He's studying piano though.
Angie is sharing that she has little love notes taped up all over her house to remind her how awesome she is.
That's incredible. I did that. I went through ovarian cancer. I'm a recent survivor in the last couple of years. And that's what I did. I taped up some notes that I needed. And they were right in front of me. And even if I didn't actually consciously read them, they were just always being in my head, filtered through. That's amazing, Angie.
Just like have them all over. And it's sort of, like you walk by and you, especially like put it on, excuse me, on like a mirror or something. And instead of walking by and looking at your reflection and making a comment, like read the note and walk away.
That's where I had it.
That reminds me of when we stayed with you. It was Valentine's Day, and Mylon and I walked into the bathroom, and you had made a heart of Post-it notes with little love notes for us left that way. So
I like to decorate.
I love it. I love
occasions. I actually just it was Nevin's birthday on Valentine's Day. He just turned 15, and I surprised him by I used toilet paper. And I decorated like streamers. So like when he opened his bedroom door, he walked into toilet paper. When he went in the bathroom, there was toilet paper.
That's awfully juvenile of you, Miss Traci.
Thank you.
I knew you would appreciate that. Oh my gosh. That's pretty funny. I put streamers up for my Luna's birthday last year, and then she didn't want me to take them down. There's still a couple up there.
Nice.
I think no. I took them all down like in December, but her birthday's in April, so.
Really well, at our house, it's birthday month, so I leave up all the decorations because all three of us are in a row.
Oh, that's right. You do. You have February and then 2 in March. Well, my Luna just took up the whole year, so apparently we'll just go birthday 6 months, the whole year, and do it. No, we celebrate the whole birthday month. We love it.
Isn't that Maya Luna's love note to herself, because it reminds her maybe of the special time with the streamers?
It does. Yeah, I'm definitely not. It was just funny. Like, I tried to take it down, and she was like, no, it's my door. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, it's great. I didn't know we were decorating forever, but no problem. I definitely didn't mind. I just thought it was kind of cute that she did that. Aww. Decorating and cleaning up, though. We're decorating and cleaning up is what I was talking about this week. A lot of people asked if we would talk about that. What is that like in your house, cleaning up? How does Nevin, like, is that a thing, or is he like generally pretty neat? Or like, so this just happened today. Kids are, especially the teenagers, their brains are not, we think that they're so adult-like, but their brains are really not that efficient. No. They're kind of a hot mess, you guys.
And then they have all those hormones going in.
There's so much, and it's really
so
the brain reconstruction, right? We don't brainstorm, you guys. If you don't know the book, Dan Siegel, Brainstorm, it's so helpful in understanding so much about like what they're going through, because it's just really different. And we have this, I keep talking about, we have this expectation of them being capable, like this expectation of their ability, because we know that they can physically walk downstairs and put the milk back in the refrigerator, which is what happened earlier. And I'll get to that in a second. Like, you know, that there's no reason. There's no reason, but there's a reason, right? So it's not an excuse. It's just developmentally what's going on underneath. So Brainstorm is really great for that. But so that's what happened, right? She went downstairs, made herself breakfast. I was like, yes, win, breakfast. Because my kid likes to, I mean, I get it. I hate cooking and I hate organizing I love when people make me food. It's like is that a love language? Because that is mine. Make me food.
Oh, yeah, that's totally a love language.
It's my love language. Yep. I will love you. If I never had to make another meal, my life would be like so easy.
I know.
So
she deal with food.
Right.
You did.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That's another story.
We'll talk about that one after. It is. I love food. I love cake. I love chocolate. I love all that stuff. All right. I have like an unhealthy maybe obsession with my love for food right now. Okay. Back to my story. So she leaves the milk out, but she went down and made herself breakfast. I was very, very excited about that. And then I went downstairs and I was like, look at that milk carton on the counter. And it had been there, because I didn't go downstairs right away. Joy is saying food tastes better when you don't make it yourself. I 100% agree with that. So there is, so the milk's on the counter and I'm like, in that moment, I'm like ready to charge upstairs with my, you didn't put the milk away attitude. But I didn't. I took my mama pause and I stepped back and I was like, okay, so, she did it. There's, I leave stuff out on the counter all the time. It's hard for me to like ask her to be more responsible than I am. That's just not that I would leave the milk out, but I definitely will cook and leave sort of a mess until I get to it. But I need to address it. So I had to step back, and the words that, instead of saying things like, why didn't you put the milk away, or you left the milk out, or the milk's going to spoil, mentioning the cost or how she messed up or all these things, or it should be easier for you to, remember. I just was like super neutral, and the milk was on the counter, left on the counter. And she immediately, just like me saying that with that non-judgmental, was like, immediately, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. Right? She was ready to, but I'm telling you, if I'd gone in there and said to her, you left the milk out on the counter, like with that attitude, that it's not how we say it or what we say, or that we go in with like a sweet voice. It's my intention. My intention was not to go, right? My intention was not to go in and blame her for screwing up the milk counter put away. The milk counter put away. That's my language sentence. For not following through and being responsible and all these things. It was simply to go in and offer a non-judgmental statement, which in that moment served as a reminder to cue, and she immediately took responsibility. But I was also ready to say, I know you probably forgot. It's important that we remember to put away the milk so that it doesn't spoil. And not then go on and on like about why that, just like leave it at that. Like just that it's important to remember that. Or it's this idea of going in with the idea of how can I help you remember? Or just a prompt. Like, I think you forgot something in the kitchen. Did you finish cleaning up? Like not maybe in this instance because she was like far away, but just like saying, prompting them with a question instead of going in with the blame or the shame.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So, look, Sharon is saying hello. Sharon was also one of those mamas from way back when the kids were little.
Too.
So little.
Yeah, I met Sharon when we were in our infant class together.
Yep. Yeah, I met her through you guys.
Like 6 months old. Yeah.
So little. So little. Angie's saying cleaning up. What's that?
What's that?
Yeah. 11. So that's my story with Maya Luna.
Why is the laundry next to the laundry basket on the floor? Why isn't it in it? Yeah,
Pile of laundry.
something that's been going on around here is Nevin is enjoying cooking, and we are sheltering home and staying home. And so I'm like up for him doing anything besides screen time, of course. So I'm like, yeah, cook something. But he's been okay. I'm not even
I
getting
can
into the
see
mess.
it. I can see the kitchen right now.
And you know, Nevin. Yeah, look at the floor. You want to walk on some. Okay, so. But the problem we're having is he's leaving the oven and the stove on.
Oh, he's such a
It's an
my
electric range.
child.
I know. We're
And my
scared.
dad does this. It's scary.
I know.
mean, my dad's, like the ADD thing is just like runs,
Yeah.
and the cabinets are always open. But I think that might be a sound sensitive thing too. I always leave the cabinets open, but it's dangerous.
I know.
And yet, how's that unravel for you guys?
My husband and I both have been approaching it from the way of, are you finished with the oven? And he'll go, oh my gosh, did I leave it on? And because I tried it the other way at first.
No good
response. Yeah, exactly. So yes, I do see that I'm getting more results, but the oven is still being left on.
Yes. Well, that is definitely, and we're going to talk about that in a second, I think, the teen brain, because that's where, and this is our tip. So we have this expectation of ability because our kids they're so mature looking and they can, have conversations. They're so smart. All these things. I know, it's so true.
What the heck? He knows. All right. I'm sorry.
No.
Even, I had this trouble when he was little because Nevin was very communicative and he's a very empathetic little boy and sympathetic. So he just was full of love and expressing his emotions, a talker. I don't know where he gets it from, but I found myself when he was little, he wasn't meeting some of my expectations because I was like, oh, look at this genius child. He can handle this, this, and this. And I'm like, why can't he remember to put the laundry on? So yeah, I did that when he was little. I'm trying to be less. I'm much more aware of the chemical, physical changes and the clouding of the brain because I can see it in his eyes sometimes, like the whole,
like they're not even. And I have a few things that I'm going to share from the brainstorm book that we'll talk about. That will maybe sort of unravel that teen brain. But so today's tip, though, based on everything we were just talking about, when we go in with that different approach, we get a much different response. And those are the moments that our kids, that we can build cooperation on. It's like every time we have that moment where we go in, and to just ask ourselves, do your words inspire confidence in your child? So is this inspiring a sense of, I'm capable, I can do this, mom or dad believe in me? Or do our words cause doubt? Like we say it because we're trying to get them to remember something, but we're basically telling them, hey, you screwed up. Ding, 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 ding. So we're basically like, then they go, there's like fear and worry and doubt and all that stuff comes in. So if we could just stop, and this is what I did like earlier with the milk on the counter. I was like, okay, is that going to inspire confidence? Or is that going to inspire doubt and fear and anger with me for like pointing it out kind of thing? So it's not even that I go in and I'm like, oh, honey, you left the milk out on the counter. We have to remember that. Like, it's not all sweet and sugary. That's not the idea.
That's not what it is.
It's about what is that intention when I go in? Like the intention when you prompt him, hey, are you finished with the oven? Is to make his brain practice. And that's what you're giving him, is that practice. Because if we just keep telling them what they do wrong, we don't actually give them the click to work on thinking it out. Oh, the oven's on. I was cooking. Did I leave it on? Oh, I left it on. And then go like walk through those steps. Like they need that very simple strategic practice.
Plus they only hear 3 words at every third word.
Really. And they misinterpret.
Yeah,
They misinterpret
yes,
so much,
yes.
and they hear our tone and our intention, and even if it's completely neutral, chances are they're not reading it neutral. I
Yeah.
love the book. Let me bring up my notes for this because I'll forget. So that's our tip for do your words inspire confidence or do they cause doubt? So before you say anything, just think that, and it will help you then shift into non-judgment, shift into being curious, shift into setting a limit compassionately and without, again, blame or shame or any of those things. It's practice though, right? Not conscious, not perfect. Let me hide that away. What was I just going to bring up?
This is exactly how our real conversations go, everybody.
Brain moment.
I
Oh,
don't know.
brain stuff. See, brain moment. I reminded myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see the comments? Do you watch the comment? Can you see all the comments?
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments.
Okay. Because you can read those out if somebody says something that we
Yes. Oh, Angie wrote something about that her son gets her own snacks. Awesome. It's one less thing for you to do, but he's not putting them away. The one thing that Nevin used to do a lot was he would sneak things like cookies or, try to sneak it, right? Totally cool, fine. But he would leave the package out or half a cookie all smashed on the or the door open, whatever. And so I would try to give him tips. I was like, look, if you're trying to steal that, you should probably put it away so that I don't know. And he's like, oh, you're right.
Making it fun too. I see Angie saying my son still gets upset if I respond kindly. That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes kids are just going to misinterpret. It happens with kids on the spectrum. It happens with teenagers. Like there's just times when our kids are going to, and adolescents, not even just teenagers, but so our job is to really, obviously set that boundary, maybe not in the moment, but come back and check in and say, hey, it was kind of, what would I say? I wasn't expecting that response. Is everything okay? Like just checking in with them kind of brings attention to the moment without making a big deal about it. But my daughter she does it, especially now. It's actually getting more intense and she's generally respectful. But when I remind her of things, so I actually we had a conversation and I said, I know that when I have to, when I remind you by telling you things or asking you questions, because she'll be like, oh, I got it, Mom. That's her favorite thing. I got it, Mom. I'm like, I know that it's like upsetting for you. So is there a way for me to remind you that isn't so like get you so reactive? And she was so responsive to that. It doesn't mean that every time it's going to like be exactly perfect because there's no perfect, right? But that we're like conscious and we're together and it's back and forth. And I might have to say, oh, I don't really like being spoken to like that. Like, let's back up and start over. Or sometimes it's, more serious, or sometimes I can be playful. Like it's a dance. It's not about like one straight line. This is how it is. But if a kid's getting reactive, know that their nervous system is on high alert and that it's not that they're just trying to like, and it may be on high alert and they don't even know. Like they're not, especially right now, like everybody's my memory is like, I just forgot what I was saying in the middle of saying it.
It is about brains.
The brain is stressed out.
Yeah. At one point, Nevin told Dave and I, this is how I need you to wake me up in the morning if you have to wake me up. He's like, I hate it when you say, do, it's time to wake up, honey bunny. How was your dream train last night? He hates it. That's the worst day. He said, just come in and either just poke me or say, time to get up and leave. And so it works now. Like we both have the balance. I understand what he needs, but he came to us with that. I was like,
I can't see Dave waking him up like that. I can see you waking him up like with the doo-doo-doo.
I thought that was better.
When he was 4.
Yeah, but see, my mother, okay, this is how I grew up. My mother, if she is sleeping and you even, anything you say and she wakes up in a panic. Every single time. So I'm like, no, 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 boo, boo,
You're like
boo.
very careful to not
That's where I get it from.
alarm the child. That makes sense. That makes
But
sense.
now I just kick him. No.
See, and now Maya Luna really does enjoy the cuddle wake up still. Like she'll even reach out her arms for a hug still. I'm sorry. You can borrow her.
Yes.
She's always
Tell her I love her.
always been good for a hug. Like that kid has been so affectionate since the beginning. And
I know. I get jealous when you tell me that you girls watched a movie cuddling on the couch.
under the blanket.
I know. I am so jealous of that.
So my stepmom bought us one of these heated blankets. It's not a heated blanket. It's got like wires going through it. It's like from Brookstone or something. And we like snuggle under it together. It's very fun. And it's one of those times, it's like our thing that we do and connect. And she is still very, and not every kid is cuddly. I know that. My mom was, I was not, I don't think, a cuddly kid by what I heard from my mother. And I think that was hard for her because I wasn't the kid that she expected. You know, it was very hard for her to understand me. I didn't show emotion in the way that she could understand when I was younger. And I didn't communicate in a way that she could understand, which is why I do what I do now. And it really caused, so the fact that he even was able to come in and share that with you, like, look, guys, I'm over this little kid, you know, nuzzle cutesy thing. And I can, or not even that, I'm just joking, of course. But he was saying, like, this is how I'd like to be woken now, you know, and then you get to say, hey, I can accommodate that.
Yep.
And then that's like, if we can go in with our kids and like, how can I would do that with anybody else, right? If there was some, like when you guys stayed at my house, if you asked me to, you know, not wait, you know, turn off this alarm in my room that would blast every morning when you slept in there. Like, I wouldn't be like, if you were like, could we change this alarm? I wouldn't be like, sorry, this is the way that I'm going to wake you up. It's a bad example, but like I would accommodate you. It's a bad example because it's not like a, you know, it's obviously a kid thing, but in any way that a child would want to come in and ask for us to, like, I don't know that I would have felt comfortable asking my parents for things just because of the way our relationship.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was just,
there he is. Hi, Nevin. He just walked in.
Is he coming to say hi? Joy is saying kids feel respected when you ask how they prefer to be treated. And they call it the platinum rule as opposed to the golden rule. I love it because isn't platinum like more nicer? Nicer than gold? I don't know. It's more expensive, I think.
Depends on your taste.
No, I don't mean like aesthetically nicer. I just mean more expensive. Isn't it more expensive?
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't know, a platinum album? Are there gold albums? Which one's higher? You would know.
Platinum.
There you go. So platinum,
right? I don't know.
Platinum, we don't know.
I would know.
Wait, there was a question in here that somebody was Sharon was saying Alex needs to be better cleaning after himself. Oh yeah, it's definitely going to get worse as he gets closer to 11. And from like 11 to 16, I think are the worst years for them cleaning up after themselves. It's really a lot of practice. It's a lot of what works. It's a lot of lists. And when that fails, going back, actually there was one mom that wrote in and asked if we were going to, or said that this was very timely for her, but she said it's not necessarily the clean room, but bikes at the front door on the front step. It's school bags and jackets dropped beside the hooks, dropped next to the hook. So like the laundry basket, like the laundry
up. Yeah, right.
And I make it easy for them to clean up and the toys on the deck and the lawn and the hall and basically stuff everywhere. So again, it's easy for us to go, it should be easy for you to pick this up, but their focus, their attention, especially little kids, and like it's just not on those it's not on those kinds of duties. Their brains are developing like how they're going to learn and live in the world. So us coming in and helping them practice is absolutely important. But if we can remove that expectation of their ability and know that we're going to be going in with reminders, we're going to be setting up new strategies like, oh, looks like these hooks aren't working. What can we try? Do you guys have an idea? And they might just be like, oh, we forgot. We're going to put them on the hooks. And it's like just that simple. So it becomes just like these little tag, like I would tag you out and you're going to go do that. You remember, and it's just like a brain prompt. It's not like this whole big discussion of the shame and the blame of, you forgot again. Look what I've done. I've put these up. I've made it easy. Why can't you remember? And I'm not saying that this mom is going around and saying it like that, but I know I could.
Yeah.
I want to, if I got.
Angie was just saying that it's, that her son is feeling shame because the way that she reminds him about turning the light off. And he says to her, "You're shaming me." Damn, they're so smart.
And I would say to like something like that, be like, "Oh, tell me more about that. Is it the words that I used, or was it that was it my tone of voice? Like, I'm wondering what about that made you feel bad inside, and what did it just make you feel like, oh, I pointed something out?" Because then just when he says yes, be like, I understand that. Like, we don't have to even go into it. Like, we don't need to delve into these like psychological responses. We just need to sometimes acknowledge. And I would be curious about why he thinks that. Because again, they misinterpret. My daughter does it all the time. And sometimes I just go back and I say, I could tell by the look on your face that you felt like maybe I was like blaming you or shaming you or whatever it was. And then, maybe she doesn't know why, but she might be able to point to like, it just made me mad. I just got all upset and my fist got tight and I just wanted to like be alone, like, cause she might just like close herself off or something. And it's just having that conversation, not really having to like go into like the deep, dark mystery of what's going on in their psyche of why, or we blame ourselves. We start creating the story of like, my child thinks I'm shaming them. And it's like, that might just be the word he's using for the icky feeling he has. Right. And you being the catalyst for that icky feeling doesn't mean that you're to blame or that you did something wrong. It just means that he's having a reaction. He might be hypersensitive to just, or be on high alert again, just by his nervous system, whatever's going on. So I don't think that we should, it's hard though, because then it puts more responsibility on us to be compassionate and to be, to pause and to not take it personally. And it's kind of hard to do that.
I try to think of my pause as an intellectual pause rather than immediate emotional response. So I try to categorize it in my brain. Like, take a moment to actually think this all the way through like Batman would, rather than taking it so personal, as my husband will say. Sometimes I take it personal when Nevin doesn't clean up because I'm like, he should know that. I taught him that. What did
what did you do wrong that he's not now showing this behavior?
He just said, "I'm so sorry. I just forget." Come say hi. Stick your face on here. This is my son, Nevin. He just turned 15.
Does he know that he's going to be like visible yet? I was going to say, hi, Nevin.
There he is.
We're talking about how to be nicer to our kids.
He said,
I know, and that deep voice freaks me out all the time. I'm like, what is happening?
I know. The other day when we were on the phone, Lori said to me, "Is that Dave?" I was like, "That was Nevin." I said hi.
No, I can't believe that's happening.
So deep. I know.
That's very deep. I know that there's another question that came through about phone limits with like 13-year-olds and teenagers and things. That's another one. I don't know that we have time to talk about that today totally, but this is a hard one because nobody's ever had little personal computers at their side 24/7 like our kids. And they're going to get mad. Like, there's just no way to say, I'm going to give you this device and then I'm going to take it away and control it. There's just, there's like, especially with teenagers, like they have such a sense of like, this is my personal belonging. It's my privacy. And so there's so much connected to that I think it's going to be a constant evolving conversation, and having some basic ground rules that you come together and decide on that will be, I think that's like key.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes I'll remind him that he, unlike myself, not growing up with that next to me and having access all the time, he's going to have that the rest of his life, a screen for everything, anytime, his entire existence. And so when I talk about, do you want to go take a ride to the beach or play a game with me or cook some food with me or what have you. I try to stick that in there, not out of guilt, but just out of reminding. Or is it guilt, Lori?
Wait, that you try to stick what in there? Say that again.
That I'll say that he has this screen access his entire life. And
right.
these moments that him and I have together, even living in my house, is very limited.
Right. And that he can act. Yeah, no, I think that that's just like sharing your experience too, because
Yeah.
I always share, and Mylena will roll her eyes, but I'm like, I didn't get my first phone, my first iPhone until because she'll be like, Mom, how old was I when I got my iPhone? And then I'll be like, well, I got mine when I was 38. And she's like, oh, shut up.
I roll.
No, but there's, but I say that to her. I'm like, you are having this from the time, I say that definitely to her, that you are having this from the time you are like she was 12 when she got it, 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And she was the last of her friends too.
Yeah.
Two of them that they were the last. I think it was, I can't remember now. We were in this house though. I try to always go by like, where were we living when she turned this age? We move a lot. But I'm like, you have this from like your entire life. Like, and it's always on you. Like even when we first got, I mean, I had a phone, of course, before, but I moved to Los Angeles with a beeper. That's how long ago that was. I had a beeper. Okay. And now
I didn't know you then.
People are watching like, what's a beeper? Like there's
right.
people that were born even after the beeper went out of style and they're adults now. That's what freaks me out. Like the beepers went away and now they're adults, so they don't even know what that is.
Doctors still have beepers though.
Pager.
That's what's called.
That's the official name. We call it
the medical world still uses them all the time. That's a thing for them.
Yes. Wait, so Charlie's actually saying this, how can you limit screen times? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
we don't know. Especially during lock time. I mean, you guys, we don't know. It's bad. There's somebody else. I don't know who their name is because it just came through. They must be in the chaos group. But she says, listening to you guys while I work, finding you very entertaining.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I'm so glad because I don't want to bore you guys because I know that we can ramble sometimes and entertain ourselves even. Angie's saying I called it a beeper too. And in LA, back in the day when we needed that for work, that was like when that thing went off. That was like that was my first like attachment to some kind of a device.
To the outer world.
Right.
Yeah.
I watched, like I was a big screen time kid. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, so it was like Saturday morning cartoons. And, when I was 10, that was like, I was glued to the TV for those times. I mean, yeah, we did do a lot more outdoor stuff too, but video games became very big, like Atari, Nintendo, all that stuff came out when I was like, I guess that when they came out in the 80s, right? Like Atari and stuff was all like in the 80s. I remember playing that stuff. And so I know that there's a lot more now, but I think that in terms of how do we set limits, it just has to be a conversation, like come together and say, okay, let's just set some ground rules because, obviously we're the parents. We have to be able to at least say, hey, let's come together. Let's have a meeting and talk about what your needs are. Like how many days, I asked my daughter once, like how many hours a day do you think you need it? Like, of course, she was a little older. She was like, well, no, she was like 12 or 13. So we can't ask like a 4 or 6, 8-year-old necessarily that because they're not going to have sort of that awareness to answer. But when my daughter, it made her really stop and think. And so now we look at her screen time because on the iPhone, it calculates. I'm sure Android has something similar, but it tells you how much screen time you've had.
Yeah.
So she has there's limits there that can be put on. Obviously gaming and stuff is harder, but coming together and saying, like from 7 to 10 or from this time to this time, like that we all put our phones in this bowl and this is our get together time. But I know that it's too hard to pull kids away from screens and then just be like, entertain yourself.
Yeah. You got to do something with them or have a project or no, it's true. Make them vacuum something. Oh, wait a minute.
Whatever works. Work on, it's time for everybody. We're gonna, and I have to give my daughter time, you guys. If there's a notice, I mean.
Oh,
so
yes.
If there's like, I want to do something together, I'll be like, okay, in 30 minutes, everyone's gonna be off screens and we're gonna get together and do this. But if I walk in a room and be like, all right, come on, it's time to get off your phone. We're gonna go take a walk with the dogs. She'll be like, nah, like meltdown. But if I give her that notice and then like I'll check in and be like, I'm almost ready. And she might ignore me too. She'll be like, oh, fine, it's ready. Like, and I won't try to get her to be okay with it. I just know that if I set like this limit and then I go back in and I'm like, okay, it's time now. She's ready. Or today she even came out early because we had to do this was one that we did today. Like 30, in 30 minutes, we're going to go for a walk with the dogs. It was like the exact conversation that we had. And she showed up in my doorway. Ready and dressed to go because I gave her that time. I think that sometimes we go in and we expect like right now, get on it.
No, there's too much going on in there, whether they're little or teens.
Yeah. Or our age. I don't want to be ripped away from something that I'm doing. Right. I always like to have it, and it's tough. It's tough. Like you guys are saying, limiting screen time has definitely been tough during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It is. And if you're in a cold place too, like me, like we can't get outside.
Can't even go out. But maybe when we all do start getting back to our world, those kids will be so sick of the screens. They'll just be like jumping and playing outside, singing
their friends.
Jacob, Jingleheimer Schmidt, and doing cartwheels all over the place. And Red Rover, they're playing games.
What Traci will be doing as soon as her lockdown lifts.
Oh, that.
You can find her at...
You guys can come over and play with me. Everybody come on over when we're ready to. Oh, boy.
It's time. I know. We're all ready. Oh, that reminds me. Oh, my gosh. It's almost 5 o'clock already. I want to share the project that I have. Can I do that? Is there a way for me to put it in the comments? I think I can.
You can post the link.
I'll post the link after as well. I think I can post it here.
And put your phone number back up there, too, so you can text Lori.
Let's put our banner back up.
Thanks everybody so much for so much input and hanging out with us. So great.
Yes, that was so fun. I'm glad. Look, we had so many people join us today.
It was like hanging out with you, Angie.
And I know I didn't get to everybody's question about there were a few more, but we kind of touched on a lot of the things that everybody that wanted us to touch on. But I wanted to tell you guys about this project. So anybody know about the No Spank Challenge? Actually, it's got a new name this year, but Parenting Beyond Punishment, if anybody knows that Facebook page. Every year they do an event to help people shift away from traditional corporal punishment, traditional discipline that's, harsh, but especially spanking, swatting, whatever you might call it, smacking, any kind of physical violence with kids. So we put on this event every year. And this year we're highlighting parent stories. So if you or anybody that you know has shifted away from that kind of parenting and want to share their story to help other parents, like we have some topics that we want to help people understand. I want to find out, like, what was your big aha moment? What was the thing that helped you shift away? Especially if you're surrounded by people who are still very much parenting in a different way than who are using discipline that is whether it be corporal punishment or just harsher discipline. It's hard. And if you were able to do it, or if you took a course with me or with hand-in-hand parenting or Parenting Beyond Punishment or any of the really amazing court places out there that helped you make that big shift, I want to hear from you. And we would love to highlight your story and share again, so that other parents see that this is realistic and that this is not just like pie in the sky for, people that have a lot of time on their hands. It's not. It's really, it's not always easy, but it's definitely worth it. And, helping other parents, everybody gets like an aha moment when they hear different stories. Like you just resonate with somebody's story and you're like, oh, I can do that. Or that happened to me too. Or this gives me hope and inspiration that even though I'm messing up now, or I don't feel like a confident parent, or I want to do it this way, but I keep messing up. I don't even like to say that. It's not like messing up. It's, conscious, not perfect. But did it show up? Did I put it in the comments? Where's the comment?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
It's in the chat? Okay. It showed up. Why can't I see it?
Go to your comments.
Okay, so that is a form. That's a Google form. So if you are watching and you're one of those parents that wants to share your story, go to that link and you can fill out the Google form. We have, I think,
I'm going to do it.
Are you going to?
Story? Yep.
But you never were a spanker or anything.
No,
like
my next door neighbor.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
Yes, that's right. Well, we can definitely share that. We can do like a highlight reel for that. We want to actually interview parents who have actually made that actual transition. Yeah. But that would be a great story, even just because I remember now that what you were talking about, and that was so hard for them and how they found that support. So that would be a good one to share. Does Andrew saying, does stop yelling count and not doing timeouts? I will. So this is this is put on by Stop Spanking, the organization, the nonprofit. So I think that they want to focus on people who were hitters, or even if you grew up hitting and maybe always felt like maybe you didn't hit your children, but you have to continually stop. You had to, find ways to stop yourself, or you worked really hard to not be that hitter. That might work too. But we really want stories of like those big transformations. So if you were a parent that maybe was a conscious parent right from the time your child was really, really little, that might be a story for another event, but this is definitely for families that made that big, big shift, because it's so hard. It's really hard to let go of this smacking and the spanking and things like that. So we would definitely love to hear from you. Obviously, you'll be interviewed and it will be broadcast. So you want to be comfortable with sharing your family's story in that way too. So. Mary Lynn saying thank you. Listening here brings me back to my awareness goals I've had. Yay, that's so great. That's what we're here for, to support each other, and then again bring us back to that place where we want to be. So I'm so glad, Mary Lynn, that you had that awareness come up for you. Yay. That's a good one. Yay. Should we do it again, Tracy? Do you guys want us to do it again? If you do want us to do it again, what?
I said it would be episode 3.
It would. We're going to rack up those episodes really fast. If you guys want us to do it again, leave us a comment and let us know. Let us know what you want to talk about. I think I had so many other topics that we could have talked about. Could have talked about. I did not talk about the brain stuff. We covered it a little, but we can talk about that next time as well.
Oh, one day we could do a facial together too, a mask, like with avocado and olive oil and stuff.
We'll just do the whole show, just all masked up.
Yeah, and everybody can do it with us at the same time. So they're still parenting because they're working, but they're also caring for themselves. And you can do it while you're vacuuming.
A self-care episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got ideas.
Tracy, my friend, it was so good to see you and talk to you.
Me too. I love you so much.
I love you.
Dear friend, sister, wife, as I always call you in my life.
That rhymed.
Oh, yes. I'm a poet. Don't you know it?
All right. Now we're getting silly, you guys. Was there anything else we needed to say? No, that project to share.
Text Lori.
This week, just think about what your kids have taught you. My Luna loves to. Our kids love teaching us things. It makes them feel like they're part of the family, like they have a role to play, that they're not just being told what to do all the time, but they actually have something valuable to contribute to our lives, right? So this week, think about what your child might want to teach you or what they have taught you that has contributed to your life. And then we can talk about it next week. Because my kid loves to teach me things or show me things on her phone. And there's so many things that just help her feel like I think she's important. So we can talk about that next week.
Okay, that's great.
I like that. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much, Joy and Angie and everybody and Mary Lynn. And let me go up and say everybody's name. And half dozen Mama Michelle. Sorry, I read the half dozen part before I saw you. Michelle, I didn't mean to call out. And Michelle, I know you asked me a question. I'll reply in the comments. I didn't get to talk to it speak to it on today. And Natasha was watching again. Hi, Natasha.
Yay. Sharon.
Sharon and Charlie.
And Joy.
And Priscilla. So many people that that joined us. Thank you, everybody. We will see you again soon.
Okay, take care. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.